Welcome to another Graceful Touch Speaks Out moment, where we take the time to listen to people in the area of health and wellness to find out what they bring to the table and how they can impact your success in living a better, higher quality life. Today we're going to be having a topic of the role of fascia in pain resolution. We'll be speaking with Debbie Kennison. Mm-hmm. Debbie Kennison. And welcome to the call, Debbie.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This is something, I don't know if you love talking about it, but I do.
Awesome. As a massage therapist, I will absolutely say that fascia is forefront on my mind. Yeah. Absolutely. But, that's a strange word, fascia. People that have been trained in the area and whatnot, that might not be so strange, but the average person might not know what that word is. What is fascia?
Oh my goodness. Okay, let's dive into this topic. If you think of, in my mind, fascia is several things. It provides structure, right? It's a collagenous tissue in our body. It kind of like, the way your skin springs back, collagen, right? So it is a collagenous type of tissue. That being said, to me, fascia is so much more than just structure. If you look at, where it is in the body, which is everywhere, right? Ears, eyes, hair, bones, blood, like it's everywhere. And what I learned, I was thinking about it today, almost 10 years ago, and it was like big news, that fascia was not only this structural, and I call it the tensegrity of the body. So in other words, the body can operate, and usually does operate under tension, but we want it to be a dynamic relationship, right? We want things to be able to expand and contract, and which plays a big role, especially in massage, but also pain management, comfort level, and learning
Let me jump in there. So, did I just hear you say basically that fascia or fascia, however you want to pronounce that, is the tangible aspect of our bodies throughout the body, or does it take a deeper dive than that? I felt like you suggested it takes a deeper dive than that.
I absolutely think it does. We could say, okay, yeah, fascia is also the water transportation system for the body. But for me, fascia, might sound, a little crazy, but to me, fascia is always listening to our breath, to our state of mind, to our nervous system. They are intricately, that word is stumbling me today, but they are intertwined. So to me, fascia is sort of our barometer for what our state of mind is, how well are we breathing, and I think that it's intrinsically, it's always in that state of, like, are we good? Is she breathing? Are we cool? Can we stay in this relaxed, open state? Or do we need to contract and tighten, add tension, and, there's a whole cascade of events that happen after that. So yeah, I absolutely, I do think that fascia is so much more than what we ever thought it was. I mean, to me, it's almost, I call it the soul tissue. When we are not in a good place mentally or physically, emotionally, I have people that aren't living the lives that they want to live, and they tend to have issues with their fascia. It plays itself out in the body, and they're looking at it in terms of muscles and skeleton. I look at it in terms of, what can we do about your state of mind, your state of breathing, and your overall state of being to help you shift that. And of course, pain and pain management is part of that. Most people wake up in pain every day.
True, and we're going to get into the pain part, but I'm really wanting to explore a little bit more. I'm wanting to massage a little bit more on the fascia.
Yeah.
There you go. So what I think I just heard you say was, while I have always considered it more of a tangible aspect, I think you just took the concept in the term into a intangible process as well. Are we going towards things like the aura and energy then within fascia, or or is that different?
Yeah. I don't think there's any separation between those two things, right? Even if you look at, if we set aside like the auric and the energetic, because I'm also an energetic healer as well as a body worker, and what I see in people that enter in a very tense, contracted, troublesome place in their bodies and in their minds, that, we could say is going to lower somebody's vibrational frequency, right? We tend to have those ruminating thoughts, those darker thoughts, those cyclical programmed thoughts, and you and I both know that manifests itself physically. So I just don't think that there's any separation between those two. I have found over and over again that when I work with people's fascia, when they come to see me, for some body ache or some issue in their bodies, it's about so much more than that. Because then we start to dive into, I'm sure maybe you've had that experience where you're working on somebody and the tears come, So I don't see any separation. And that was something that was really evident to me, was that we, in the old school medicine world, we tend to separate the body from the mind, and we also separate it from the spirit. And we look at those as three different things. But the way we think, the way we feel, and the way we move are all one thing. They're all one thing.
Connected.
Very connected. Yeah, so.
Well, what I said is interconnected.
Oh, yeah. And interdependent on each other. One affects the other, right?
Interdependent on each other. That's definitely a very good point, too. So, from a 50,000-foot view, I know we can get really granular on this and whatnot, and you and I could take a deep dive into it and be there for quite some time. But from there you go, right? But being from a more user-friendly type concept or layman type concept, what does it mean to work with someone's fascia?
Oh, that's such a great question. And I do like to zoom the lens back out sometimes too, because again, we have to find, what's the gateway for people to, access fascia. Why do we care? Why should I care about it? I always say to people, why should you care about fascia? Well, it obviously, if we look at the bigger picture, like, what is your hydration level? Are you thirsty all the time, a lot? Do you feel hydrated? Does your lower back hurt? How about your feet? It's how well are you sleeping? Like all of those lifestyle things that we, the markers of health. I think that that's where the conversation can start, is literally, how is your body feeling in this moment right now? And if you can just close your eyes and just tune in. Do a little scan, a body scan. And if in doing so you run across something that you feel is uncomfortable, like if we did a scale, 1 to 10, 10 being like, I feel amazing, 1 is like, yeah, not so great. Depending on where you are in that scale, to me, that's what makes fascia so relevant is if I know what your starting number is, and I know that I can help you work with your fascia in a really, sometimes I call it like it's really stealth, it's very sneaky. I can help you find greater range of motion. I can help you feel better in your body, breathe better, think better. And I always think there's 3 things that we always do as humans. We think, we breathe, and we move. If any of those are problematic, there's where we can start is fascia. Feeling better.
So in 1983, when I was in high school, I stood up from a chair, bent down, and got something off the floor, and I was down on my back for the next 5 days.
Yikes.
Was that involving fascia?
Yes. And I like to look at it this way. So fascia tells muscles what to do, and muscles tell bones what to do.
Interesting. So I've heard, muscles have memory, bones don't. I've gone with that before. I've never really considered fascia supersedes muscles. I haven't gone there. Not that I disagree with you, but I haven't gone there. Now, all right. So we got this fascia, concept in mind. What is pain management? Is that where I go to the doctors and I get a bunch of opioids and start pumping myself full of pills? Is that?
I hope not. Right. That's the easy button, right? Some people, and that's what we've been trained to do, right? Is we don't look at what the cause of what it is. We just go, oh my gosh, my QL is, or my erector spinae are, off the charts tight. We don't look to fascia.
For those that are not aware of what you just said, those were different muscle groups. And so that's what we were just talking about. It's really not important what muscle groups it was. When your body's not happy, that's basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Now go ahead.
I think in that event in your life that you talked about is, I think that we could look at this in terms of, just for a layperson, like exactly what does fascia have to do with that? The thing is that we have so many unconscious moving patterns, and you and I know that we also have a lot of, the body is extremely adept at compensation, right, of some of these patterns in our bodies. Muscles that we're not even aware in our bodies are problematic. And of course, if muscles are telling bones what to do, and fascia is telling muscles what to do, I think for my practice, I always go, okay, let's just play around. Let's just look at what's your balance. Let's look at your feet. I start with the feet every single time, just because that's kind of the doorway for fascia, right? And the easiest way to explain it is if you ask somebody, have you ever had plantar fasciitis? And I swear 9 times out of 10, yes, I've had plantar fasciitis. Why? Well, fasciitis means your fascia is inflamed. And it's starting at your foot, which is where your fascia starts. You've got the plantar ligament, which thank goodness they changed it to a ligament. But it starts in your foot, and then it just goes all the way up. So Yeah, it's, we have to find that point. And a lot of people will say, but the pain's in my upper back or my lower back or, my knee or something like that. But 9 times out of 10, in addressing the feet, we can resolve whatever's going on above that. So a lot of times I just go around that body part that's problematic.
So is fascia then, is there, well, of course there's a tie, but is there a more intricate tie than what I am personally aware of between reflexology, which is working with the feet, and fascia?
I love your questions.
Thank you.
Yes, these are great questions. Slightly different, although, so I'm going to show you. So these are just an example. This is a fascial release ball that I use. And it's got these beautiful little craters on there that can kind of grab up that fascia. There's lots of ways to work with tissue and fascia besides using a ball. But if we, and my brain's just going like, I want to talk about that. So I'm trying to get, I'm trying to get back to that question. But I think that reflexology addresses organs a lot, right? However, when we use these balls on the feet, when we're standing, we are pressing on all of those organs, right? If we look at, I just have my little foot reflexology chart over here, and if we are actually rolling the foot out, the entire foot, there's no way that, again, we're doing the same as reflexology. In fact, I've actually had people that are under chronic tension, very stressed, and when we work out with these balls, I warn people, you may get nauseous, you may feel a little lightheaded or dizzy, and it's only happened twice in almost 20 years, but it does happen with people because we're taking that, this is where we get into the lymphatic system piece of this, right? We're working with the feet, the lymphatic system, that garbage, sludge, sort of immune system, toxic soup, it could be, right? Depending on your level of health, but it's one way. It all goes to your feet. So now we're standing on the ball, we're stimulating that lymphatic sludge back up, and it's got to go back through the liver. So we're detoxifying at the same time, which that's a lot of what reflexology does, is it's helping stimulate our organs and work through the feet to access organs, spine, tissue, all of that. So, yeah, I think that that's a great point that you brought up, that in many ways that's what we're doing when we're working with fascia in the feet.
So just, I try, when in my videos, I try when I hear different words that are not normal.
Yes.
I mean, they're normal to us, but I try and make sure that we define them. People have heard circulatory system, that's not a problem. Lymphatic system is much less heard among lay people.
Totally.
What is that?
If you think of your lymphatic system, right, it's your immune system when it gets activated, right? Like, a lot of people may have had like swollen glands under and around their neck, right? When you're feeling like you got a sore throat, you're not feeling great, even to the extent that, like, I have lymphedema on occasion. So my liver function is a little, not so great at detoxifying, at getting those toxins from everyday living in this world, from our foods, from our, what we ingest in our bodies, from what we put on our bodies, to the products that we use to clean. Our bodies are like a sponge, and they're always taking on these toxins. the lymphatic system's job, the lymph nodes, their job is to help counteract that. So I think of them like little little camps for all of those immune cells where they live and they work to fight whatever germs, toxins, viruses, things like that. So that lymphatic system includes all of the lymph nodes, which I can't even remember how many they say we have now. It's something like, do you remember, Guy? It's thousands.
I don't remember the point is there's a lot.
There's a lot of them.
So basically then, we're talking today about fascia and pain management. I feel like in some ways we've woven them together a little bit, but is there more that people should understand about fascia and pain management that you'd like to bring forward?
Yes. Yes. I think sometimes, I've worked with people of every, from cancer patients to people with chronic illnesses and disease, chronic pain. I myself was someone who had chronic pain for 3 years, and that sounds like nothing compared to some of the people that I've worked with. But when you have chronic pain for more than a week, if you have a headache for more than a week, it affects everything, right? It's exhausting. You can't function in the everyday world. My initial, I guess that my whole reason for really learning about the body, learning about anatomy, learning how to make it feel better was because it was born out of my need to get myself out of pain, which I think is always a really good place to start from, right? Where like just sort of experimenting and learning and learning and learning.
So if I can jump in there for just a minute, just to accentuate your position, which I think is correct. Both my wife and I are massage therapists, but she has chronic back pain. I don't. I think we both bring a unique set of talent to the table, so that in just over 4 years we become the leading practitioners in a very competitive market here in Rapid City, which is cool.
That's cool.
But I think she holds an advantage to me, just like what you were pointing out, because the pain that she does experience and whatnot puts her in the forefront of understanding people at a depth that I can't, because I've never been there. I mean, I was there in 1983. 1883? No, probably not. But 1993 or 83, I was there, but I don't live there. I haven't ever had to live there long term. And I think, just like what you're saying, when you have that gift, and I know it's hard to understand that as a gift.
Exactly. When you're in it, it doesn't feel that way, but
yeah, you have an edge up on everyone else.
Yeah, bless you for saying that, because truly, every injury I've had, every pain, everything that I've gone through has taught me how to help other people. And I was at the point after 3 years, I was ready to give up. I mean, every doctor had said, you're never going to be able to use your left hand. You're not going to be able to do things.
There you go. It looks like you're using it to me.
Yeah.
And if you're a body worker, you never use it in body work. I know that for sure.
Exactly. I just one arm, Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy to me the things that the medical doctors told me I would never be able to do, and I was just going to have to live with the pain. That seemed it was almost like my soul, my fascia was just like, what? No, don't believe them. But for whatever reason.
I add something to that?
Yeah.
Not only do they take time to tell you that, but they make sure to send you that little paper that has those numbers on it with a total down at the bottom. And
yes.
They tell you that, and then they say, thank you very much.
Yes, that's exactly right. And most of the time, I was told, I don't know what else to do for you. I can't help you. And that's
I'll charge you.
Yeah, right, but I'm going to charge you. That's exactly right. And that was the insult to injury, right, where it was like, you're kidding me. You're actually charging me to tell me that. So, honestly, that really led me down a very alternative path, because typical Western medicine was not helping me get better. In fact, in some cases, it landed me in the hospital and I was worse. But that is a gift in my mind, especially looking back on it. Thank you, whoever, God, whoever gave me those experiences to help me, because now I know exactly. I mean, I've rehabbed a compound open fracture in my arm. Everything that I have had happen, for me, to me, it really has been for me, and it's informed the way that I work with my clients, because I know what you feel like. I swear I know exactly what you feel like. And I can remember exactly what that thing was in my body that helped me unlock that pain cycle or shift, even if for 5 minutes. I remember I used to go for 5 minutes if I just don't have pain. 5 minutes. And it was starting to, and I had a team. I had an acupuncturist. I had a good osteopath or a chiropractor. But I think that also points to the bigger issue, that there's not one way to solve the problem or to help you get out of pain. When I'm working with your fascia.
And if I can just add to that, that also includes chiropractic. For example, just because I have one chiropractor does not equal another chiropractor. One physical therapist does not equal another physical therapist. Yes. We can just go down the list. Right. In many ways, people just go in and, well, you're the professional, therefore you must know, and that's the end of the story.
Yeah.
I personally think we should go in more as a, don't get me wrong, but pursuing a dating relationship. I'm not saying date your body worker. I am saying take that level of responsibility.
Yes.
And, if you're going to bodywork expert X, and that bodywork expert X is not bringing what you need in your relationship, then go to bodywork expert Z. Yes. And keep on looking for the body worker that will your needs, rather than, oh, well, you're the expert, so I just got to go with what you say.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, yeah. I try not to get on a soapbox about that. We have been taught to not care about the body, not worry about the body, not connect to our bodies, which is why I feel like fascia is so critical to take a look at, because typically we're all living here, the neck and up. We're living in our heads and we're not in our bodies. And that disconnection with our bodies has gotten us into a lot of trouble. And we put our health and our own needs sometimes ahead of what an expert says. And, I've had doctors who I've ended up back in the hospital because of them, because of their treatments, when I felt in my soul and in my heart that wasn't what I needed. And it almost brings me to this something that I feel very strongly about with fascia, that fascia, I live a lot of my time in the very subtle, very feminine world where it's sensing, knowing, creating a relationship with your body, and trusting what you feel. Trusting in your gut and in your heart that this doesn't feel right, but that person over there maybe is who I'm more aligned with. And we've just been taught that's, yeah, you're right. They're the experts. They know. You don't know. You don't have a medical degree. But I always try and reinforce to my clients that trust what you feel, what your gut tells you, what your heart tells you about that caregiver, because, yeah, there's a lot of different body workers and doctors out there. And I know I'm not for everybody, and I don't want to be.
Sure.
You know, but I do want the people who can relate on some level to and hear, you know, what I'm trying to bring to the table, because first and foremost, just educating people about their bodies and then reconnecting them to their bodies and asking them to really trust themselves more and tune into that. That's just revolutionary in our medical system, you know. So yeah, I love that you brought that up, because I think that that's imperative. You don't have to believe what I say, but if you feel it, that's more important to me. What's your heart say? What's your gut say about this?
So you kind of ventured into my next question just a little bit here, but let's take a deeper dive. If you could only work with, you know, if you could only have one person see this video, be it gender, be it age, be it socioeconomic, be it geo-specific, if you could only have one person view this video and pick up the phone or whatever to contact you, who would you want that person to be?
Oh, that's such a great question. I want someone who has an open mind and an open heart, not for me, but for themselves.
Oh.
Because most people have the least amount of patience and compassion for themselves.
Very good point.
Over and over again, what I see is that we want to hurry up and get well. Is there a pill that will fix this? And again, we're staying, all that keeps us disconnected. But I want someone who is looking to know more about their body, to have an open mind about some other alternative ways to heal, to get better, to feel better, and an open heart to themselves, that they're ready to take care of themselves to that highest degree that's possible.
Absolutely. And how would such a person get a hold of you?
Well, I do have a website. It is DebbieKennison.com. So people can find me there.
Let's slow down here for just a minute. So Debbie, yep. D-E-B-I.
Yes, DebbieKennison.com. Of course, you got the www in front of that, right? So you could go to my website, DebbieKennison.com, and it sounds crazy, but I can do virtual visits that everybody at first is like, you can really help me feel better? Yes, on a virtual call, or like this, you know, meeting on a video. They can also email me. So my email is Zen, Z as in zebra, E-N as in Nancy, DEBI 8 at gmail.com. So they are welcome to reach out to me on either one of those sites. Now, my website doesn't have everything that I offer. So if someone has a really specific issue, like I have this plantar fasciitis, I have back pain, whatever it is, can you help me? By all means, reach out, because I have some people that say I'm kind of like the sneaky healer. Like, it's kind of funny to me, but it does make sense because a lot of times they come to me with that one problem or pain, and we end up treating the whole thing. So the whole you.
Sure. All right. And are you out on socials? Do you follow socials?
I am. Yes, I forget about that. So again, it's Debbie, and then on Instagram, I am Debbie with a capital D, an underscore, and then a capital KENNISON on Instagram. And then I have a YouTube channel. And my YouTube channel is also Debbie Kennison. And I have some videos up on there where I address certain physical issues, but also there's some spiritual stuff, there's some meditations on there, some breath work, and so you can kind of find a little bit of everything.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Guy.
Speaking of contacting people and whatnot, I am...
Yes.
Absolutely. So I'm available on gracefultouch.org or gracefultouchproducts.org, where we have over 50 different products, including one that is, they're all natural, certified organic, plant-based, and one that directly deals with lymphatic system. I wonder why I bring that up. So we have that, and then also as it relates to socials, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, but my main event these days is Instagram, where you can find me at Pain Relief for the number 4 you, Pain Relief for you. We are also in the process of launching a training on teaching people how they, as a layperson, can do massage and help themselves to feel better. So with that said, now we're going to come back to Debbie again. And Debbie, this is your golden nugget moment. So my question is, we've talked a lot about a lot of different things. If a person watching only got one thing from this video, what would you want it to be?
There is a limitless possibility for you to feel better in your body.
A limitless possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. You
Which
are
means,
pure potential.
it's just, that's a pretty wide open door.
It is a little, but I know in those moments when I lost all hope that I would ever get better, there is potential.
I have to put you on hold for 1 minute. I'm running out of battery. Give me just a minute.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm back.
That's all right. Good.
So,
Got yourself charged up.
There you go. So limitless possibility. And I know you were just saying something. I'm sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
No, that is totally fine. I guess I tend to speak more to the people that are in chronic pain or just don't know how to feel better. And I just want them to feel even just a glimmer of hope. Like it is possible. I have truly experienced miracles in my own body and witnessed it in other people. And it is possible to feel better.
So just to speak to that just for a minute, I had trigger finger in my both index fingers when I was in turned 40. Trigger finger is basically, I know you know what it is, but where you shut your hand, the only way you're going to open it back up is you pull it open. It's very painful. How do I know? Well, I had it. I went to a hand surgeon, and well, guess what the hand surgeon told me would be necessary?
Surgery.
Well, there you go. If you take a look at the hand,
yeah,
it has no scar.
Yeah,
either one.
Looks pretty normal.
And, right, exactly. absolutely. And so I asked the hand surgeon 2 questions at that point. And I'm just using this to build on your point that you just made. And my 2 questions was, well, number 1, isn't trigger finger, carpal tunnel, or any other situation caused by an inflammation of the joint? Why, yes, it is. Then my second question, I said, okay, answer this question and you get your surgery. How is your digging in my hand going to decrease the inflammation in my joint? Well, his statement back to me at that point was, the only way you will ever solve it is with surgery. There are answers that do not require surgery that are out there. There is hope. There is possibility. Too often we just think, well, we just need to have our body cut on. Yeah. Well, as we cut on our body will break down in other areas requiring more cutting.
Yeah.
And so I completely encourage people to contact Debbie, because it doesn't sound like you've got surgical knowledge, and that's not a bad thing that you don't have that.
Right? Yes. Yeah.
But what you do have is the ability to help people to get out of pain and realize a better tomorrow as a result.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any last closing thoughts, and then we'll just bring this to a close?
Gosh, no. Honestly, think about your fascia. That's all I'm going to say. Just think about it, and think about opening it up and making it feel better, and life can get even better. Sky's the limit. Sky's not the limit. Everything, you can go as far as you want, but yeah, thank you so much, Guy. This is a great conversation. I do hope it helps somebody just think even just slightly different.
I'm glad to have had this conversation, and I look forward to seeing you out on the socials.
Thank you. Likewise.